houses. I don't want to cold call, but where do I go? How do I find these realtors? I want you to ask yourself, what other people, what other industries do you know that also need or want realtor contacts and relationships? Someone throw them out.
Insurance agents.
Okay, insurance, but I will tell you, most insurance agents want loan officers more than they want realtors.
Title BDOs.
Title, BDMs, reps, account executives, escrow officers. There's actually, anybody here from Nebraska? Okay, so I used to also I've worked with realtors in Nebraska and realtors in California as well. And I found out networking in Nebraska, they actually have closers, and I forgot what the other title was at the title company. Yeah, an escrow officer, but they're not an escrow officer, they call them a closer. But it's all the same thing, and they're all connected with realtors, right? Okay, so escrow officers, or the settlement agents, right? Title companies, insurance agents, yes, and not as much. Who else?
Home inspectors.
Home inspectors.
Home warranty.
Home warranty. Good. What else?
Pest inspectors.
Pest inspectors. Perfect. Home security. Perfect.
Attorneys.
Attorneys could be, but they don't really go after realtors super lot. More the realtors go after them, because the attorneys can give the realtors the
in the states
referrals.
that we don't, in the states that don't have title companies. I think
Yes. The attorneys the states that don't use the title.
Divorce attorneys.
Divorce attorneys. Okay. But again, a lot of courts have court-appointed realtors, so the attorneys might not be looking for realtors, right? It all depends. Another one actually is companies that do closing gifts, okay? And that's what I want to start going into. Creating partnerships. If you were here at the very beginning and you heard my introduction, I said that Mike Curtis and I met years ago. He was a loan originator. I was not, but we both needed to meet realtors. And when I got into title, Mike was actually my #1 mortgage loan originator client for my title company, right? Because of the relationship we built. We both needed realtors. We partnered together to do events, do classes, do happy hours, things like that. I introduced him to people in my database. He introduced me to people in his database. Connect and become partners with other affiliates. Like we kind of talked about, the first thing, #1, title companies, escrow officers. But here's the deal. How many people in this room are in Arizona right now? Okay, that's a pretty good number. In Arizona, and if your state is also like this, we have reps for our title companies. Their job is to sell the realtors to use their escrow officer. If you have that in your state, they know more realtors than anybody else. Partner with them. Connect with them. I can't tell you, when I switched from title to mortgage, and I started working with loan officers, helping them market and grow their business, they all talked about the escrow officer. I was like, well, what title rep do you use? And they would give me the name of an escrow officer. The escrow officer sits behind the desk. The escrow officer stares at the computer screen. The sales rep goes out and takes people to lunch and has coffee and hosts classes and hosts events. If you want to build your business, yes, you want a good escrow officer to make sure you get closed on time and the paperwork is done right, but they are not usually a salesperson. Now, if you're in a state that doesn't have them, then they have to learn to sell behind the desk, is what we used to call it, right? So then you do want to have a good connection with them. But the key is not just connecting with them, not just doing events with them, not just partnering with them, asking them to refer you, asking them to connect you, and being willing to do the same. If you have a realtor that doesn't currently work with that title company, if that title rep is willing to introduce you to someone, be willing to introduce them back. And the event is the easiest and biggest way to do it. And you bring in a team of other people that all need to connect with realtors. You guys, some of the LOs in my downline here in Arizona a few months back, we did an event at Topgolf, and I'll give UWM kudos, they helped sponsor it, but we came together and I found a on this list. I think we had, if I remember right, I had 4 different sponsors. In the end, not one loan originator put a dime into that event. And I think we had 50 to 60 realtors show up, right? It wasn't all on our own efforts. It was a team effort. It was a partnership effort, right? And so we got to meet realtors we didn't already meet. We got to connect, and we didn't even have to pay for the event. We stayed at Topgolf playing golf for like 2 or 3 hours, and we had a buffet lunch. It was an amazing event, and we really impressed this room full of realtors. And we got a captive audience. That is one idea, one way that you can do this. But again, it's talking to them about partnership. It's talking to them about sharing contacts, sharing networks. It's creating events, creating classes. Sometimes they could be fun things to do. Sometimes they could be educational. You can get super creative with whatever you're going to do. And you can choose, maybe, 2 title reps you're going to work with, and maybe 1 of each of the other things. I mean, look at your market and look at how, like here in Arizona, we have 90,000 realtors. And so and most title reps have a territory. So I can partner with someone in the Southeast Valley and partner with somebody else in the West Valley. And their territories don't combine, and I get double the value, right? And then when you look at some of these others, you can create a whole team of partnerships that you can be doing event after event after event